So I did this show at 1 p.m., which you will see the later half of in a minute. But big news today. Donald Trump, first convicted felon president of the United States of America. Woo-hoo! We did it, y'all. And about 15 seconds after Donald Trump was convicted is when the Donald Trump campaign released a campaign message.
Thank you for joining us here today. Earlier this afternoon, Donald Trump was arraigned by a Manhattan grand jury on 34 felony counts.
This case is an abomination. You know, it's obviously political. 7 years to try to come up with this case. They're just wrong on the law.
The only crime that Donald Trump is being prosecuted for is the crime of running for president.
Political persecution at the highest level.
They've quite frankly given up on trying to beat him at the polls. Either going to steal it or stop it by law firm.
A Democrat prosecutor elected on a Get Trump platform.
What's going on here is a disgusting disgrace. It is war on Trump, it is war on the Republican Party, and it is a war on the Republic.
This case is the weakest case I've seen in 60 years of teaching, practicing, and writing about criminal law.
And I doubt the New York indictment would have been brought against a defendant whose name was not Donald Trump.
This judge, I mean, you don't need a prosecutor if you have a judge like this. This judge is not on the level.
It's a terrible case, but the judge has been pretty much a rubber stamp on everything that Bragg has wanted to do.
They're perverting the system of justice. You know, that's where the danger lies. The corruption and subversion of our institutions by the left.
This is the Democrats' entire strategy, to confine President Trump to a dirty criminal courtroom and keep him off the campaign trail where he can bring his winning message to voters across this country.
New York has become a legal banana republic. They are so determined to get Donald Trump.
Look, convicting Donald Trump, that's all they have.
I think they have no cards. And they're depending upon Trump getting convicted.
That Trump train doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
The only verdict that matters is the verdict at the ballot box.
This whole thing is wacky, crazy. I can't believe they actually convicted him. Well, anybody would have convicted him because at the same time, guys, the question for every juror was essentially, did Donald Trump write Michael Cohen a check to pay off a porn star? Well, the answer is yes. Is that a crime? Sorta, if you mix in election, like, I don't even, like, whatever they're doing to create the crime is what's happening. But that's what the jurors were asked. Did he write this check for a porn star? Well, yeah. They should also be asking those same jurors the alternative question of, did Joe Biden do the same exact thing to social media companies in 2020 to protect his son Hunter Biden's laptop leak in the New York Post from happening 3 days before the election? But again, like, hypocrisy is not hindsight, because then it wouldn't be hypocrisy, would it? It would be hindsight. Let's kick it off with CNN over here, who right before the announcement of the verdict wanted to let us know there are 34 counts, which means there could be some that are, you know, they convict him of, and some of them that they're not. They're going to read them off one by one. Maybe some of them they do, and some of them they don't.
The jury is going to read its verdict, one of those counts at a time. Count 1, count 2, count 3, all the way through. Now, they might not necessarily find all guilty or all not guilty. They could find different verdicts with respect to different charges.
Guys, there's 34 counts because there was like 34 checks. There's like 24 checks and then like 12 notes and what. Like, it's the same crime. There was one question on the table here.
Charges against Donald Trump were brought by Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, alleging that Donald Trump had made 11 monthly payments to his former attorney Michael Cohen to reimburse Michael Cohen for a lump sum payment that Cohen made to Stormy Daniels to buy the rights to Daniels' story about a sexual encounter she had with Donald Trump years prior. The reason there were 34 counts is because of the 11 checks, 11 invoices, and 12 vouchers.
And CNN drags it out. And of course, soon as he's convicted, here's CNN putting it up on the board like the big old COVID numbers. 34. We beat him. 34 counts. Convicted. Donald Trump.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt.
They got him, y'all. They got him. They won it. They did it. They beat the big man. Yay. I don't know where we go from here, but I've been feeling good lately saying that I'm voting for Robert Kennedy Jr., and I'm going to keep saying that because it seems to only make dumb people mad, and it seems to only bring me joy to my life. So you should try it as well.
I believe 2024 is going to go down in history as the year an independent candidate wins the presidency. Let me tell you why I think that, because you definitely won't hear about it from the mainstream media. Zogby Strategies recently conducted the most comprehensive and accurate poll of this election, surveying over 26,000 people. That's about 10 times what the typical poll surveys, and it has a margin of error of almost zero. They asked some questions that no one has asked so far. Zogby asked who people would choose in a head-to-head matchup, not just between President Biden and President Trump, but with Kennedy versus Biden and Kennedy versus Trump. Results were shocking to the mainstream media, which is probably why you haven't heard of them. When I go head-to-head with President Biden, I win in a landslide, 367 electoral votes to a mere 171. When I go head-to-head with President Trump, I still win, but in a nail-biter, 270 to 268. And when they face off against each other, President Trump wins by a comfortable margin of 50, whether I'm in the race or not. Frankly, the biggest obstacle to my victory is that people think I can't win. This poll shows that I can, and that's why it's so important to spread the word about these results.
I've even thought about like wearing the merch and stuff. Like none of it causes conflicts because it's kind of just a message saying like, you see that nonsense? Not a part of that nonsense. Vote RFK. And with that, I will leave you guys because I've already recorded this thing like 3 times because I keep messing up the audio and everything else. Also, this is the No News is News with Alex R. Wagner, and this is like new 4K presentation of it. So like, I hope I look beautiful and we all look pretty and that you like these pretty little new reels and stuff. But now for the rest of the episode, which is mostly about Robert De Niro being a weirdo. Woo! All right, we're on. We're synced, we're loaded. This is the new No News is News.
Today, to support Donald Trump. I am here for Trump.
To support Donald Trump. To put America first.
What do you like about Donald Trump?
Everything. He's from Queens, and he speaks our language.
I like Trump because he keep it real. He don't got no filter. He's for the people.
He speaks money, and this is what the country needs. We need money, not inflation. We need money.
Everything was under control. We had low inflation. We had gas under $1.80.
Take a hit of that mushroom pen because I need a little microdose. Today's episode is bizarrely wild. I'm Alex R. Wagner, and this is No News is News, where the news isn't news because it's not news, but then it's news, and now we're going to cover the news, but what people really think is the news isn't really the news, but what people... This is the news, people. No News is News. Taking a little break at the end of May through Memorial Day weekend. Had a great little Memorial Day weekend. I hope everybody else did as well. The reason for that was that I was going to promote the Egos movies that are coming out. The first one of which is already out right now, The Egos, a New York City comedy, released in 2016 on Funny or Die originally, and now available on YouTube and Plex and Tubi pretty soon. But with that said, I was also going to wait it out because even though we had some weird stuff at the Libertarian Convention going on, the one thing that I was holding out for the next episode was the Trump verdict. But after 6 hours of deliberation on Thursday afternoon here, no verdict. So I'm thinking it might be a minute. Unless that's it right there. Is that it right there? No, that's not it. But it might be a minute. But once they do have a verdict for the Trump trial, we will do an entire episode on the Trump trial. But today, we're going to do a quick episode, maybe. I don't know. A little quick. We're going to try to make it quick. All about what's going on and stuff. Because, you know, Haven't been here in a week and a half, and I was sick of waiting. So, Robert De Niro ruined the world? I don't know. Why did they do this? Trump goes outside for like 30 straight days screaming about how the trial is just political. Then when the trial's about to end, the Joe Biden campaign decides to hire Robert De Niro to come and scream at protesters? What?
Thank you. I mean, this is really, even these people over here are it's kind of crazy. It's really crazy, and this thing, Donald Trump has created this. He should be telling them not to do this, but he's just, he wants to sow total, he wants to sow total chaos, which he's succeeding in some areas and places to do.
If Trump had any decency, he would stop these people from protesting me making a courtroom political. It's hard for Trump not to make the courtroom political or to not make anything political right now because he's running for president and he's a human being on trial. However, for the other guy running for president, he doesn't need to hire an actor to come and stand outside the other guy's court case. I don't understand how you justify this. It does not make any sense. Robert De Niro is a weird, creepy 80-something-year-old man who just had a child, which, you know, is about as close to pedophile as you can get without being a pedophile. Sorry. So Robert De Niro needs to fucking stop the paydays. Clearly getting a payday for this one. But after Robert De Niro had made his comments, the rest of the world crumbled too in confusion as to why the Joe Biden campaign would inherently make it political by doing this. First up, Donald Trump, who's talking about Robert De Niro getting maggot. He got maggot, is what he said. He's getting maggot.
And then they have a protest of Robert De Niro yesterday. He's a fool. He's a broken down fool standing out there, and he got maggot. He got maggot yesterday. He got a big dose of it.
Honestly, he did get maggot. Like, he got sworn by a bunch of people that were like, oh, you want to make this political? Then we'll make it political.
I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. But we vowed we would not allow terrorists. I owe this city a lot.
It's political. But, you know, at the same time, it's like, okay, come on. Well, I don't understand. I didn't understand the justification of being like, I should be able to speak at this trial that has nothing to do with me and nothing to do with the person that I'm even advocating for. What? Next up, we got Don Trump Jr., and he's just as pissed off as daddy about Mr. Robert De Niro.
They bring in Robert De Niro, who was shot down, but apparently he needs attention because it's been a while since he's cranked out a good movie. But think about it. They bring out one actor. Remember in 2020 when every A-list actor in the world showed up for Joe Biden? They lined up one by one?
Robert De Niro's mean and stuff. I swear. After Trump is done and he wins presidency and stuff, let's not lobby for another like Trump person, because like if it's Junior, I'd vote for Eric Trump before I vote for Junior. But best Robert De Niro comment clearly goes to Joe Rogan with Duncan Trussell and their Magadoon Donald Trump.
Whoa. Duncan. This is what's going to happen when Trump wins. Robert De Niro is right. Robert De Niro is right, Duncan. Do you want to line up and lose all your rights and he never leaves the White House and you have throat singing on the Capitol Hill steps? Throat singing?
It's so funny. I was like, dude, that sounds awesome. Make America great again.
Everybody sneaks in, gets a gun.
Grazes in the morning. Grazes in the morning.
If you sneak in, we'll give you money.
Joe Rogan also had a man who like dumped $1 million on his table, and it was part of the MMA shows, which like no one even watches.
Brought with you $1 million in cash, which I've never seen before. I've never seen $1 million in one place. I've never even seen $1 million check.
Should we tip this out?
Yeah, I guess tip it out. Let's make sure we don't spill any. Ladies and gentlemen, that is $1 million in cash.
Falls stays.
That is so ridiculous. Look at that. That's so crazy. Wow. Whoever is running this really trusts you.
They
Because
shouldn't.
those are loose. They're like a lot of these are just kind of flying around.
Flopping around here, you know. They
Whoops.
have way too much faith in me.
Yeah, a lot of faith in you.
I mean, this was to prove it. I had the idea. I was like, I'll bring a prop $1 million on Joe Rogan. But people were, I was thinking then, they already don't believe I have the money. So if I pulled out a prop $1 million and you were like, oh, that's fake money, then I'm like, oh, my tournament's fucked. So we had to, had to do some bad things for that.
So how's one even get $1 million out of a bank? That's
So-
got to be a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah, so my buddy that's helping me out with this basically called his bank. He said, I need $1 million on Thursday. They said, yo, that takes 2 to 3 weeks. And he's like, get me the $1 million on Thursday or I'll find a bank that can. And that, I mean, that put the energy in him to get it. Here we are.
So what does this guy do that he has all this loot?
I really don't want to say. I'm going to keep it all directed at me. It's all above board legal, you know what I mean? But we're sort of keeping it mysterious. I want any negative energy towards the tournament coming my direction, not the anonymous sugar daddy in the background.
It's the most bizarre thing I've seen. Most bizarre thing I saw before I saw the entire Terrence Howard episode.
Remember, they have a thing called zero. They go from 1 to 0 to -1. There is no zero to even think zero.
But like that's someday I want to break down the entire Terrence Howard episode and why we should have mushroom houses. So as I was saying earlier, Fox News covered the Robert De Niro live, but CNN and MSNBC did not. And then CNN, whatever, same damn thing. They're like, why did you guys do this?
Smart for the Biden campaign to be outside the courthouse talking politics. The Trump campaign criticism is that shows that the trial is political. On the flip side, I'm curious, do you think that the Biden campaign should be even more aggressive than that they've been considering the state of the polls?
Well, I haven't thought about this much, Casey, but I'll say this. For the last 3 weeks, literally 24/7, it's been the only thing that's been covered on this network.
No one has an answer still as to why they really did this. And now everybody's like, all right, well, since we're going to go this route, like we were saying that like it wasn't political, but now that we're like going to do the whole, like, should we all be there? Like, let me know. Talk about celebrity endorsements and the way you should conduct yourself when doing an endorsement for a political candidate. Here's Dennis Quaid, a man who made millions and millions of dollars off of Christian movies the last 10 years, shockingly telling Piers Morgan live on the air, he's going to vote for Donald Trump. What? No way.
What do you think of Trump?
I think I'm going to vote for him.
Really?
Yeah, in the next election. Yes, I am.
Are you ready for the blowback?
Well, yeah.
Which inevitably comes
well,
with Trump?
you know, I think in this election, everybody's got to, I think they're going to take a side or whatever, but it just seems to me, it just makes sense.
No one saw this coming. Dennis Quaid, the guy that does the Christian dog movies and stuff, the guy that's like always on a boat, like saving God or Jesus or stuff. I don't even know, like Dennis Quaid. Like when I hear Dennis Quaid, the only thing I think of is like dogs and like a barbed wire fence and like a silhouette of a headshot in the sky of like a man with a beard just being like, I'm Dennis Quaid, even though I don't have a beard. Dennis Quaid doesn't have a beard, but he's more like the golf Republican. You're like, this guy, he's wearing polos every day. Okay, but then the world gets weirder, all right? We have this whole, Robert De Niro thing, and then Dennis Quaid, like, shockingly tells Piers Morgan that he's voting for Donald Trump, but then Donald Trump just, like, slid under the radar and did an entire podcast with Tim Pool. What?
The Libertarian Party National Convention, they had one of their, I believe one of their presidential nominees said he wants to see Fauci, the heads of Moderna, Pfizer, Biden, and you locked up for what happened during COVID. I don't agree with them, but there is a big sentiment. Elon Musk tweeted, prosecute Fauci. Fauci lied to Congress about the gain-of-function research that was going on, and now we have testimony
Well,
that...
I'm the one that stopped the funding, and this was funding from before me. I'm the one that stopped the funding. Fauci wasn't a big player in my administration like he was after I left. I mean, Biden made him the king of everything. And if you take a look at that, Fauci was not the big player with me that he was. And in fact, I did things that he didn't want to do.
Donald Trump being on Tim Pool gives me hope that probably not this election cycle, but once both campaigns fail to reach anybody because of the new media landscape, I really hope that they go on Joe Rogan, and I hope that Joe Rogan gets all three of them. Honestly, Joe Rogan could blow up the entire election still. Like, if he puts RFK on the air, like, top of October, both of the other campaigns start fleeing to be able to get on Joe Rogan. Potentially, we have all three political candidates on Joe Rogan because people are really desperate to get their messaging out right now. That's what I've seen. And so, yeah. Here's Joe Biden on stage talking about January 6th, comparing it to BLM in a non-Fox News way? What?
He calls insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol patriots. Patriots. If reelected, he wants to pardon, quote, every one of them. Let me ask you, what do you think he would have done on January 6th if black Americans had stormed it? Think about this. What do you think would have happened if black Americans had stormed the Capitol? I don't think he'd be talking about pardons. It's the same guy who wanted to tear gas you as you peacefully protested George Floyd's murder.
That's crazy gaslighting. Can you believe that? I can't even, that is a talent. To go from J6 to BLM without the comparison of riots, wow. That is political skill, my friend. Political skill. Don't worry, guys. We're getting a debate. But as Jill Biden reiterates, there are a lot of rules to this game.
Any tips you'd have for a debate that we could pull off where we could actually hear our candidates?
No, they've built that in where they're going to turn off those mics so that somebody can't ramble or scream at somebody. Not that my husband would be the one doing that. No. Mm-hmm. And so that's already been negotiated. And, I think the American people deserve a debate because you need to see your choices. You need to see Trump and you need to see the president.
The funniest thing about that is not that she entirely spins the no audience into a good thing and then backs up and says, well, her husband surely wouldn't be screaming. No, the funniest thing about that is how she completely throws it under the bus, being like, it is really important that everyone sees only two candidates. She might as well use the word only because she was like, two candidates. Meanwhile, RFK over here at Libertarian Convention is screaming about masks and making jokes, and the world is going crazy.
And an NBC film crew came up to me during that convocation, and they asked me why I wasn't wearing a mask, which nobody was except for the NBC film crew. And they said, wasn't I scared of dying of COVID? And I said to them, there's a lot worse things than dying. And they said to me, like what? And I said, like living like a slave.
If you like podcasts, if you like the world, vote for RFK so that we can just burn the system down and then, the Kennedys can fix it. Because Kennedys are still rich and this guy's pretty awesome. I don't know what you have against RFK, but if you have something against RFK, then you're probably, I don't know, IQ points 5. IQ points 5, please. I don't even know what this is. I have a note here saying Joe Biden talking to reporters. Oh, I know. It's Joe Biden being overwhelmed by reporters.
Whoa. This concludes the press conference. Thanks, everybody.
Like he doesn't answer a question, but he's like, oh. Attention, everyone. The press conference is over. All right. Well, back to the press secretary who's been getting stomped by Peter Doocy every single week. But even in a match like Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, every 1 out of 100, you're going to lose.
Topic. Why did President Biden have a private meeting with a witness who plans to testify in court against his son?
Can you say more?
Hallie Biden is a key government witness who allegedly disposed of a gun that Hunter is accused of buying illegally. President Biden was at her house this week.
I think the American people should also be told the full breadth of this, not just a part of this question here. As you all know, the president actually spoke to this yesterday during his memorial, I think impactful, powerful Memorial Day address, where he talked about the passing, the anniversary, the 9th anniversary of the passing of his son. And he visited her as that anniversary is approaching. He visited her days before the anniversary of the passing of his son. And she is family. She was married, obviously, to his late son. And I think that is something also to mention as you're asking your question to me.
As the press secretary states, that was the ex-wife. This was about the Beau Biden weekend. Let me turn up the Beau Biden meter. Beau Biden death meter 11. Mofos, you lose, Doocy. It was Beau Biden weekend. Any other weekend, it would have worked. But Memorial Day weekend, Peter Doocy, you lose. You lost to the secretary. One time. 1 out of 100. Tyson's still going to win 99, though. Right? All right, now let's get to the war. And there's wars and stuff. So I guess over the weekend, Israel torched a bunch of children and women in remote area Gaza or Rafah or Hadas and Mazas, Ladas, Madas, Fadas, Grazas, Razas. Here is the Pentagon guy, the Blinken, blink, Secretary of State. And he's gonna explain to us that, there hasn't been an incursion on Rafah. Even though we're torching women and children in a fire, we don't know that they started the fire and there hasn't been an incursion. We have not incurred on the incursion.
But the president doesn't have a personal limit to this?
The president has been very clear and very direct about what our expectations are for Israeli operations in Rafah specifically, but in Gaza writ large. We don't support, we won't support a major ground operation in Rafah. And we've, again, been very consistent on that. And the president said that should that occur, then it might make him have to make different decisions in terms of support. We haven't seen that happen at this point.
Why not have him come out and say that himself?
The president has been speaking to leaders throughout the region on a regular basis. He has been addressing you guys in various fora. You've got plenty of opportunities to talk to the president, including, I might add, in a press conference last week. There is no incursion here.
If you do not see incursion, then you must aversion. Aversion? Accursion. There is no accursion. I don't know. Good luck ever getting them to do the right thing. Because y'all are going to vote for Biden anyway, even though Donald Trump is probably better. But it doesn't really even matter, because if you voted for RFK, then you might actually end the war that you're all protesting against. But two-party system, I don't want to throw away my vote. No. But we need to give the humanitarian aid regardless of whether we're torching the children or whatever the fuck we're doing, and two-party system, have to vote for them, whatever. We need the aid. So how are we going to fix the aid? Well, $320 million fucking remote island off the coast. Oh, we forgot water. So I guess we destroyed that.
I understand the intention behind building the pier, but $320 million, 3 soldiers injured. The thing is breaking apart because of rough seas. It's insufficient to need Was it a mistake to do this?
No, it wasn't a mistake. I mean, listen, there's nothing that the
It's not even fully being delivered.
Listen, I think there'll be some rough moments in the early going of trying to get this Pier operational.
Destroyed a $320 million humanitarian island vessel that we just created. So basically just a giant cardboard box that cost nearly $500,000 in the ocean or sea or whatever. I don't even know. Why? Who thought remote island was the best possibility here? Who thought that was a great idea? Let's just build remote island in 10 days. Person that created the island of islands that fucking fell apart or whatever isn't as dumb as the person who made this guess on Wheel of Fortune this week.
Tavares, right in the butt?
What?
No. Blake.
This is the best.
Yeah, that's it.
Right in the butt.
I said what in the butt. I said what in the butt. I said what in the butt. I said what in the butt. You want to do it in my butt? In my butt? You want to do it in my butt? In my butt?
I love the lady who was like, what? It's like it was like he was trying to put it in the butt and she was like, what?
I said what in the butt. 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 You want to do it in my butt? In my butt?
At the same time. The actual physical action would have the same exact sound effects, is what I'm saying.
Right in the butt?
What?
So this week, I had my license suspended for a ticket that I didn't know I had. And so I had to pay a fee. And thank God the cop let me go while I was driving over Memorial Day weekend. But I had to pay a fee and figure it all out. But next up, this guy, and I'm going to play this whole clip, okay? But it's from a Zoom courtroom, okay? And I'm not even going to give you any punchlines. I'm just going to set it up with this is court and this is court on Zoom.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
Hey. Okay. So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have a license.
That's what the charge is, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at
Yes.
his record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Hello?
1 minute, Mr. Harris.
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
That judge wanted so badly to try to give that guy a break, but he just kept thinking in his head, how do I walk away from this actual filmed moment? I have to arrest this man. He is that dumb. And sometimes you get arrested just for being so dumb. But somebody that's not dumb, Mr. Elon Musk. And this is our last clip of the day. Remember, we will be back momentarily, quickly, hopefully, once they acquit Trump. Because they're going to acquit him, right? Because if they don't, they torch the buildings or something. I don't know what they're going to do. But hopefully they do nothing and nothing happens and then NPR just cries. That would be the nicest thing. Oh, actually, that's probably already going to happen. Anyway, so that's that episode next. But this is the last clip we got here. And the smartest man in the world, Elon Musk, is like, AI should not be woke.
It's very important that AIs be trained to be truthful and not trained to be politically correct. Because if political correctness is often simply not true, and that means you're programming AIs to lie, and I think that will backfire very badly.
So basically what Elon Musk is saying is that AI should not have like social like parameters. So AI should essentially conduct itself like, I don't know, say somebody autistic. I don't know, say somebody like Elon Musk. Why does Elon Musk want to make AI like Elon Musk? Also, if we're talking about AI models, I want the one that thinks like Elon Musk. I don't want the one that thinks like Bill Gates. I don't want it. The one that thinks like the Google executives, like the most dumb one. It's just like, can you please give me corporate answer number A without offending anyone? What is 2 + 2 equals? And they're like, sorry, Terrence Howard said it equals something different, so that's also controversial now. What? Anyway, goodbye. See you later. Have fun. This has been a gander. I will see you next time on No News is News. Remember, like, subscribe, like where you're liking the stuff, and then subscribe where you're subscribing to the stuff. And that's cool. And also, you can help me out. You know, you can help me out. Got a Patreon, $3. Got an Instagram subscription, $3. Got a YouTube subscription, $3. Any of those $3 donation fees, give you little added benefits on the platform. But also, after I hit 10 subscribers for those 3 platforms, I'll be doing special, awesome Reels content with some crazy stuff that I'm not allowed to share elsewhere. So if you want to be a part of the OG group of that, you can go ahead and check that out on any of those platforms by subscribing for $3 a month. Goodbye.
Guys, I guess just don't follow the fucking sky, you know?